All right, so sorry I'm starting late. This has been an interesting experience, to say the least. So, first, a bit of news, and I know I'm going to be repeating this until I can get it figured out. But the news, I mean, tonight I was supposed to have a friend on to be able to stream together and whatnot, and I wasn't able to figure out one little piece of the puzzle. We were able to figure out everything except for one thing, and it kind of took me over in preparing for and getting tonight ready. So I think what I'm just going to go ahead and do is that I'm just going to go ahead and keep working on the piece that we've been working on. And if we get a solution, Van, is that Jacob Van? Is that who that is? If we find the solution, if we figure this out, then great. And I'll have my very special guest, Ana Carolina. She's gonna be joining me. She was supposed to be joining me tonight, but I couldn't figure out one thing, so we'll have to see. But it's all just because I would need Pixelogic's login and whatnot. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to go about it. Anyway, so here, hey Jacob, how you doing? Okay, so Italy. Hi Anna. You can watch. Hopefully get it to be even better than that at some point, because yeah, let me see, I have too many points in my scene. That's a lot, but it's not too many. That's a lot, but it's not too many. These cookies each have over 1 million polygons. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start off by getting rid of, decimating as many of these polygons as I can, because that's a lot of polygons and it's really bogging down my system. So I don't need that many. I do need, let's put it down to 150 just to see what it does. If it's good, I'll use those same settings for the rest. I might actually have to just mask the cream filling part. I don't know if it'll work the way I'm hoping it will. Yeah, it's not going to work the way I'm hoping it will. So, man. Let me see. I feel like I need to go and like apologize profusely on my Instagram. Okay, let me see. I feel like this is like super terrible, but I'll at least hopefully be able to go ahead and get this figured out for another time. It'll be fun. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Okay, so let's get this going. Let's get that. Now let's try it again. Yeah, let's try it again. Okay, so Z plugin 150. see if we can get this to go down to the amount that we can actually speed up our workflow a little bit. One of the things that happens is that if you get too many polygons inside of your scene, I mean, ZBrush can handle an insane amount of polygons, but if you get too many, it can get to be you know what? That's not quite what I was wanting. So what we're going to do is we're just going to subtool split hidden. Now we'll go ahead. I'm actually going to pull this over to the side. More than one way to crumble a cookie. But how's everybody doing tonight? Where's everybody tuning in from? Can't tell if we're connected. It looks like we're connected to Twitch and to YouTube. Lots and lots and lots of people. What's the weather like where you're at right now? Oh boy. Right now, I am swimming under an ocean of a lot of stuff. A lot of rain. Hey Jim, how you doing? Alright, that's come. Well, let's see. 150,000 held up really well. Let's see what 75,000 will hold up as. Probably just fine, right? Okay, so last week, if you remember, sorry, just to be able to get lots of rain up there. These cookies are so righteous. I'll share the cookies with you if we can get this stuff figured out. Cool. And how's the weather up in Norway? That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, conceptual visions all the way up from Norway. Like, dude. Oh, look at that. So much cookie in one chunk. Okay, so let's get that. Let's say split hidden. Great Scott. Okay, so we have 5 cookies right here. Let's just see if we can do all right by coming in hitting 250. If it's not all right doing 250, then maybe I'll just go ahead and see about taking the custom up to 300 or maybe to 350. It's raining for you, Jacob. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I mean it's raining here, and it's funny because I mean we were expecting it to rain today, but it was interesting because the rain didn't hit us until much later in the day than we expected. So that's kind of neat. Whoa, that is totally not what I wanted to have happen. Yep. Okay. So when you're going to decimate, it's a good idea to make sure that your meshes are not masked. Okay, let's try this one more time. It's up in Norway, getting hit by some warmer temperatures just now. Before it was cold and a lot of snow, so just right. Sweet. Yeah, I grew up in the snow. I grew up in the mountains, and so it's It's kind of weird being in LA and not getting any snow. You can see snow. I mean, there are like the San Gabriel Mountains and whatnot, but otherwise. Anyway, for those of you that are just tuning in just now, the plan was originally to do a team stream with Anna Carolina. And as chance would have it, we weren't able to figure out how to get the we weren't able to log in to be able to do the team stream. So hopefully we'll be able to get that going soon. It might be something that we just go ahead and do either on our own or something else, but we're, at some point we're going to get some team streaming here on the Pixelogic live streaming channel. Oh, you can tell it's definitely thinking a lot with its decimation. But it's also good news because that'll knock out, 5.5 million points. Yeah, check that out. That held detail super nice. Just to be able to check this out and really see kind of what it did. Okay, look at that. It's super eliminated all those polygons in the middle because there's no detail, there's no sculpted detail. So what Decimation Master does is it puts out a new mesh. It creates a new mesh for whatever mesh you run through the system, and it will generate a lot of polygons around areas of high detail, like for instance the sculpted top detailed portions of the cookie, and it'll generate very few large polygons for spaces where it's flat and where it doesn't have a whole lot of detail. So really, really neat, really useful. I mean, if I were printing these out like life size, this would totally work for me. And I might even be able to push it a little bit further, I don't know. But something like that works really, really well. Okay, so let's go ahead, color, fill object, just so we don't have to worry about losing our detail there. Okay, so this one's already split. This one has all the crunch to it. Let's take it to 75K and just to be able to test it and see how it goes. It's already under 1 million, so we'll see what it says. We'll see what ZBrush does with it. Looks like it did absolutely nothing. Okay. We're just going to make sure that that is not masked. Let's try this one more time. So conceptual visions, you said you're heading into work in an hour, so you're streaming until then. Where do you work? What do you do? Yeah, look at that. Okay, now we're starting to get some good cookie business here. Open a bakery with this stuff. Okay, let's go ahead, color, fill object. I missed your earlier cookie work. Did you have to bust out a box for reference? This time, no. However, see if I brought it. I did. somebody brought a whole bunch to work, so I brought them home to be able to share with my wife and kids. Thought it'd be fun. I also have this. Not that that's helpful, but it was also free, you know, so whatever, right? Okay. And this is reference. Okay, so I had, did you hear that? All the candy just like tumbling to the ground. All right. So, had a bit of inspiration. Remember the dragon that we sculpted last week? Well, one of the things that I feel like I'd like to do with him is maybe take him and instead of making his head or his body made out of gummy, or maybe I'll have his body made out of gummies with like some sort of plating or whatever. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But the thing I feel like I want to do with it is take it to being made out of chocolate or something covered in chocolate. And one of the things I was looking at, let me see if I can pull it up in my Wreck-It Ralph book, because I mean it totally just made me chuckle when I thought about it. Do you remember the devil dogs in Wreck-It Ralph? The police pull them out to go looking for Ralph when he comes crashing through the racetrack and whatnot. Super funny, super funny. Let's see if I can find them. But I would have sworn that they were. It's like, I swear I keep thinking that I'd seen something specific in here, and then I go to look for it, and it's not there, and then I feel just dumb. Oh. Well, I mean, it's got the police officer donuts, which, I mean, they were funny. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to take the devil dogs that they went sniffing for Ralph with, take that kind of idea. So like a sponge cake sort of element for the dragon's main body, yeah, there we go. That moves so much better. Oh my goodness, that is so great. But yeah, so essentially he'd be created out of some sort of like sponge cake, and then he would have chocolate drizzled on him. You know. Yeah, that's what I want to do with them, and I feel like it would be spectacularly splendid. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up my dragon. The colors that I put on him last week, I feel like it's totally stupid, and I feel like there's a lot that I need to change and make different. So what we're going to do, that's the merged one that we took over. This one I want to, let's make this more of a sandy color. Let's say color, fill object. The eye rings. Eye rings. Complicated. Working in a kindergarten, so heading out to take care of 14 1 to 4-year-olds. 3D freelance modeler, brushing up on my ZBrush skills. Love these streams. That's great. That's great. Good evening, Sumerian. I'm gonna call you Sim. Is that alright? Okay, so far that's kind of what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this eye ring. I might even have to go ahead and let's see. Let's just go in here. Let's say inflate. We're gonna take it in a negative direction. Dude, you have no idea how cool that render looks, man. I am not gonna lie, like that really turned out super slick. And so okay, so Sumerian King, good friend of mine. Anyway, he ordered a print of a model that he made of Groot, little baby Groot, for his girlfriend, and he did this really cool render of him. It was in Keyshot, right? Anyway, looked really slick. So at some point when he posts it on his social medias, yeah, just make sure to be friends with him. The good dude. Real caliber. One of the best kinds of people. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of sink these parts in. The more I look at this, the more I think it needs to be more narrow. And it's funny because I was looking at some other sketch that I did at work the other day or something, where it's like I felt like the nose needed to be different. So we'll have to see. Yeah, and that's the thing, is like there are a lot of people that go through. So it was Baby Groot in the style of Disney Infinity, and it looks super cool. And he had put the Disney Infinity logo on there, and it's something that's cool. I think it looks really neat, and I think that it looks like it fits within that style. But then just because Disney gets really picky about things like that, told him it's probably best to just take it out. And then he unfriended me on Facebook. Just kidding, I don't think we're friends on Facebook yet. Mick, you need to send me a friend request. Okay, that's starting to get more character to it. Let's need to mask these out. Oh, has anybody seen the trailer for the new Frozen movie? I'm not gonna lie, it looks beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I am thinking about doing these two-tone. In fact, I need to go ahead. I'll probably make the. That's kind of interesting. Thinking I might go ahead and say. That's kind of a cool color for it. I'll have to have fun. Chula, chula. If you want, in my trunk, I have 2 Valentine's Day balloons that I brought. Love you too. She's so wonderful. Okay, let me see. My toy plastic, I'm pretty sure I made some modifications to this. I mean, if you look at it, you'll see how it's got kind of like this greenish color, but then it's also got this red in the cavities. I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe not. That looks pretty default. Not sure. Manish. You might have to tell me how to say that. That's a cool name, though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm doing pretty well. How you doing? Okay. So, what I'm gonna do. That's actually kind of working, so let's just get rid of. And yeah, you're absolutely right, G-Ben. Yeah, it's exactly what I'm going for, is kind of like that gummy worm vibe, which I think I might have gotten. Oh, I forgot that I moved my trash can. That one's too squished. It's gotta be a good one. There we go. I don't know how easy it is to see, but we're going to go through and we're going to try to better match those kinds of ridges without eating all the reference. Okay. So what we'll do is actually just come over here, get select last, sorry. Let's go auto groups. Let's come over here, let's say mirror and weld. Okay, and then we'll just make sure that those are the same polygroups. What I want to do, yeah, that's kind of the point. Actually, you just gave me an idea. Not even intentionally. Okay, so what I want to do, let's come in here. Let's get rid of those. Let's get rid of those. Let's say, let's come down here, auto groups. Okay, let's do it like this. Control W. Oops. Okay. So, wrong thing. What we need to do first, mirror and weld, so we have the same on both sides. Oops. Now we can go ahead and Control W. Now we're good. Okay, what I want to do is I want to get rid of those ridges. Okay, so I am going to go ahead, we're going to go to deformation. And we're going to, yeah, let's say polish by groups. Okay. So you can see what it's doing is it's going through and smoothing everything out. And it's creating something of a ridge right along here. Oh, so it looks like all that color was actually in the poly paint. It's like if I click over here and hit C, you'll see it's green, and then if you click over here, you see it's more green, less yellow. Anyway, so what I want to do, is I'm going to Control-Shift-click on this. Let's go to our, actually need to load in that brush. Let's say load brush. Gummy worm. Okay, let's see if we can. Not entirely sure which one it was that I had used. So we're just going to try out. I think one of these is probably going to be what we want to use. So let's, that's a lot. Okay, let's go over here and make sure that we're, okay, curve step at 1. Let's see. I like this one better. It's very slight difference. Let's see what this one's like. That one's not quite gummy worm enough, so let's do this one. And let's eat one of the smushed ones. I don't know how a gummy worm gets smushed. Okay. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. And here comes the fun part. I'm kind of tailoring this to our needs. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. Because this isn't going to let me get it into the position that I want without deforming it way too much. So, let's say split hidden, just so we can keep the old eye rings. You know what? Let's not split hidden. Let's Control-Shift-D to be able to make sure that we have this as its own thing. Okay, and then we'll just go back to before this was made because I want to keep the old eye rings as well. And I want to keep them with that color. That seems cooler to me. Okay, so let's get rid of that one. We'll turn this one back on. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of, turn off symmetry, get rid of the 1/2. And we're going to work on this. We love the beginners. We're gonna have to start modeling pizza and order some in for reference. You do it, Mick. You do it. Save me a slice. Loving this project. How do you inspiration for personal work happen for you? it doesn't. So a lot of it happens just by doing things, like just working and trying things. I feel like that's where I get, well, that and like taking breaks. There's a garden that we like to go to here in San Marino in California. It's called the Huntington Library, and it is a phenomenal place to me. Just so peaceful and relaxing and beautiful and very wonderfully taken care of. There's so many plants and so many things there to look at, different flowers, different pieces of art, books, everything. Just so many cool sculptures, everything. So the thing that I like about the Huntington Library is that because it's so peaceful and relaxing, it allows my mind to just do nothing. Essentially. And I think it's those times of rest, times where I'm not trying to think, where I figure out the coolest ideas. I think my wife is much the same way. It's either like that, or it's like inspiration will come when I don't want it to, or when I can't do anything about it, like when I'm driving, or when I'm in the shower, or when I, you know. Yeah, let me see if I can dig into this a little bit more. There's a garden I like to go. It's called my garden. Now get off my lawn. Yeah, I feel like the more we dive into other things that maybe aren't as related, like Mick, the Sumerian king, like what he was talking about, like I feel like that is when inspiration is most prone to strike, is when we're doing something not related to what we're wanting to or trying to do. Okay. I want to make sure that the actual dragon mesh doesn't go past the gummy worm ring. It includes right there. Okay, so one of the things that I'm going to do, I mean, I told you I wanted to get kind of like a sponge cake. Have it so like as if the dragon itself is made out of sponge cake, and then have it like it's frosted. So if you watch my personal streams, I mean, I haven't really done a ton lately on my personal streams, but here's something that I did fairly recently, and I'm just going through and starting to get in prep for print. Now you'll notice that like right here I have these I have the surface. I wanted to have this kind of this cool pattern on his back, and yeah, so I went ahead and I created that, and in the original it's just two tones, so polygroups, and then I went ahead and used panel loops going over here, edge loops, down into panel loops or group loops, something like that. And I use that to be able to create a clean edge going around. And then I could go ahead and I could create the two different colors. So I had a darker color for along his back, and then I had a lighter color for along his belly. Obviously different colors for his tongue and his teeth and things like that. But since this is something that's being prepped for print, in fact, if I were to go through, let's turn on booleans. Let's turn off the positive. No, not that. Turn off the positive, turn on the negative. There we go. So now he's got this piece missing out of his mouth that this other piece can then kind of come in and fill in. It's just kind of a fun deal. Anyway, so booleans, prepping for print, all sorts of cool stuff. So the thing that I wanted to do, that I'll end up doing with my dragon, is something similar to this, where it has like a puffed overcoat, if you will. Okay, let me see if we can figure out. I want this to get a little bit thicker. A lot of what I want to think about now, since I'm wanting to add in a little bit of a storytelling element to my scene. Yeah, you can turn those on. It's pretty great. You for sure seem very zen, and personally I do relate to the idea of this garden of yours. Currently reading Neil Gaiman's Coraline, and all those images of sculpts pop into my head. Yeah, I mean it's like they have some parts of the garden where it feels like you're walking through the Vatican, or where you're walking through some very very cool, like European style stone sculpture garden, and it's phenomenal. It's just great. So yeah, spending time outdoors, spending time away from the screen, going on walks, doing laundry, doing the dishes, doing the grocery shopping, things like that. Those sorts of things. Even just walking around outside just helps to find cool inspiration, just little whatevers. But the little whatevers kind of build up to something substantial, like another gummy worm. Maxim rooting. There are cold out of doors. Yeah, it gets kind of cold outside. Okay, so what I do to be able to make this kind of like this layer that I was telling you about, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mask, and I'm just going to kind of mask out the area where I want the frosting to happen. And then what's cool is I can come in, get like a smaller and I mean, you can do this however you want to do it. Like for instance, in spots like this, or back here, where the masks meet, where the symmetry meets, I'm going to want to break symmetry. So hold Control, hit X. If I can remember how to ZBrush. You ever have that happen where it's like you're like, it's a stupid simple thing to do, and I cannot for the life of me think about how to do it. Here's a good opportunity of a place where I can think more about how this chocolate might interact with the surface. Maybe we'll have it slightly different on each. This is so incredibly helpful, is being able to get most of your masking done using symmetry, because I mean, let's face it, I mean, nobody wants to have to paint everything separately, you know, like, okay, that's not true. Some people do. They are outcasts and bag of, I'm just kidding. They're the good ones. Okay, let's maybe take out some of that. Okay. So once we have our mask painted, we can go in. I'm like way craving more gummy worms, and I am so working on not eating them. You should be proud of me that I still have some at all. The other thing that I thought of, which I thought could be cool, are you familiar with the Ferrero Rocher? It's I believe they're Swiss. Easily one of my absolute favorite chocolate candies. But it has, it's made by the same company that makes Nutella. So if you're at all familiar with Nutella, then you know what I'm talking about. It's good stuff. Anyway, so it is awesome. It's real quick. Let's talk about extracting this. It's a hazelnut covered in like a creamy chocolate hazelnut cream, like Nutella. It's like a Nutella spread sort of texture to it, and then that's coated in a wafer, and then that is coated in chocolate, and then that is covered in chopped hazelnuts, and oh man. You know what, here's where we're gonna add a little bit of magic. We'll see if we like it. If we don't like it, actually I already can tell that I don't like it. Okay, so let's figure out something else. Oops. I'm talking about with the Ferrero Rocher there. Okay, let's kind of pull some of that out. I really like this idea, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let me see. There we go. That'll work. Okay. Okay, so actually let's mask the inside of the eyes too, just because that'll be helpful to me. Okay, looks like we don't have anything on the bottom mask, which is good. Okay, so here's what we do. Extract, okay? I don't need double turned on, it's not a big deal. We need to extract first. You see how really bad that looks? Okay, let's go back, let's fix it. Oops. Okay, there's some spots over here that had some sort of funny little business. So the thickness, it got all weird because the thickness was too high, so I'm going to put 0.005. Let's try it again. Now that's looking better. It's still too much though, so let's go 0.0025 so that it's half that much. Hit extract. That looks good. That looks good. That looks like a good extrusion amount. So what this is doing is taking the mask information and it is pulling a new surface out of the surface of your model. To be able to make this sit, I mean, if I were to change my angles, you'll see it disappears. So if I hit extract, in order to keep that, I have to say accept, and now it's its own thing. So two things to remember when you are working with extract meshes. It will turn off your symmetry for this piece, so you no longer have symmetry on if you had it on. So in order to make sure that you have it on, if you wanted to use it, you just hit X and you're good to go. And then it also masks out parts of the mesh. What's cool is that if we look at this, it has 1, 2, and I think it makes 3 different polygroups. Yeah, it makes 3 different polygroups, just to be able to show you more easily. That'll be easier to tell. Okay, so 3 different polygroups. And so at that, it makes it a lot easier to tell. But anyway, so the nice thing, the really, really nice thing about this is I can take, let's do this. Let's solo it out. We're going to say, we're going to make sure that we have just these 2 selected. I'm going to hit Control W to make all of that one polygroup. Okay, so now we have 2 polygroups instead of 3. Okay, the reason why this is important is I want to go to Geometry. I'm going to go to Crease. We're going to say Uncrease All. And I'm going to say Crease PG. And it looks like it's giving me something else there. I have no idea what that is. It's a little bit of a nuisance. Let's say okay, delete hidden. Currently the mesh says yes, say always yes, that's fine. Okay. So what I want to do, let's actually get rid of the floating pieces. You see we got these floaters out here. So we just want to delete hidden. What I did to be able to do that is I Control Shift click and drag over that piece, and in order to show the whole thing, the whole continuous piece, Control Shift A, and that shows whatever's connected in the visible subtool you have selected. Okay, so this makes it really, really easy. Let's make it chocolate. To red, let's make it more orange, something like it's too desaturated, it's too saturated, that's too ooh. Honestly, I have no idea what's spinning. I think it's my fans. I apologize. Maybe I could see about trying to add a filter to be able to mask that out. Get a noise gate in there. Let's see. Let's see. Can you hear it? Can you still hear the GPU fans? Whatever is spinning on the inside of my computer. There goes more reference. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I guess I've heard about using the noise gate option inside of the OBS software, but I never actually used it, so hopefully this does a good enough job for us. Okay. So since that's too shiny, I'm going to go through and figure out. This might be better. What do you guys think? MRGB, we're going to go color, fill object. What? Oh, it's because the RGB intensity is down all the way. Fill object. That's better. Spin and pause. I'm going to come over here. Let's actually change the document color. Just be able to see silhouettes and whatnot better. Hopefully that's nicer for you guys. I like to kind of bounce between different background colors, different document colors, just because I feel like it helps. Okay, so good. Now that we've got this going, I can kind of push this down and in. In spots where it's not needed, or where it's suppressing the details that are needed. I don't want any hate mail from people who are like, you know, rights for chocolate. There ain't none. Okay, so the really nice thing about having this in polygroups like this is I can now control click and mask that out. So it's really, really helpful to me. What I'm gonna do is we're going to try to make it build up and look like frosting. So as if it's kind of been like this gummy worm ring had been stuck into this. Gotta turn off the, what's it called, the dynamic view. Okay guys, these little candies, the little yellow candies, should I make them kind of Mike and Ike sort of candies? Kind of like these. You see these? If you grew up in the 90s in the U.S., then you know what Mike and Ike's are, or even before then. You know, they were all over the place for 50 years. Yeah, should I make them Mike and Ike's, the yellow pieces, or should I make them candy corn? What do you think? Just eating my reference. Hey Horuko, how are you doing? Would red blend too much with the tongue and eyes? Are you referring to turning those into like red Mike and Ike's like that? So something I was thinking of was going through and taking, let me see. Let's get my gumdrops. So one of the things that I can do is actually duplicate this off. We're going to solo it. What we're going to do is say delete hidden, and then we're going to go actually over here. It's under ZBrush. Take this down to 3. Make it 3,000 polys, in the neighborhood of that anyway. Oops. I had my symmetry turned on. I need to turn off my symmetry. Hold Alt, click ZBrush. Let's see what she comes up with. So one of the things, Mick, that I would like to do, that I think would be cool, is I can come over here and let's say I want to actually let's say this. We're gonna go to mesh. Okay, so that way we can have this little piece. This is just a single sprinkle. Okay, little gumdrop. What I want to do with this is I want to take it and turn it into a nano mesh brush. Okay, so I'm going to say brush, create new nano mesh brush. Okay, so now you see a Z modeler. This is what this is. Okay, I'm going to come over back to this extract, and it's going to say insert nano mesh. Okay, it's going to say a single poly or all polys. I'm just going to say all polys. Okay, just kind of playing around with it for now. Okay, so what we need to do now, we can go into our nano mesh menu, and this is where we can start to play with the shape. Okay, and if we look at it from down here, it's really easy to see, really easy to understand what's going on. You can see the profile and whatnot. Okay, so I'm going to say length. Oh, not that. Change the height. Where's the height? There we go. Okay, so you see how it's starting to look kind of sprinkle-like. The settings are kind of weird. Yeah, let's just take off. If you guys can put up with the fan noise, then hopefully that'll make everything better. Let me know if that sounds better to you, Marco. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say make the size a little significantly smaller. Actually, let's make it larger. Just kind of trying to keep an eye on that length a little bit, because I think that's gonna benefit from being longer. Let's do that. Okay. So what we want to do now, we want to look for, pardon me, random distribution, random seed. Okay, we turn off our thing here. So what we want to do, we want to like really boost the our random rotations. Come on, why isn't it? Hold on, it's not flipping sizes the way I'd like. Thanks a lot, Marco. Yeah, that was something I had put on a setting that was supposed to help get rid of the fan noise, and went ahead and turned it off. There we go. Now I'm starting to get some. Yeah, let's just leave that like that. I kind of like how that looks. Okay, let's see what we can figure out. Yeah, let's go ahead. Here's what we're going to do. So to be able to make this into real geometry, let's say alt mesh, or you can see, I mean, it's got polygons and everything now. Okay, so what we want to do is I'm going to get rid of the base part, so we're left with just the sprinkles. Okay, and we're going to come over to polygroups, auto groups. So we have these nice colors. Now here comes the fun part. We're going to go poly paint and poly paint from polygroups. Okay, so now we've got these beautiful, beautiful colors. That looks super fun. Okay, so for this, for the chocolate part right here, okay, and it looks way too crisp, like the edges are way too crisp. So what I want to do is I'm masking so that it has the bottom part masked out. In fact, here's what we could do: Control A, just to make sure that that's all masked out, so that we get this top half. Let me show you real quick. You see how right here, this bottom row is masked, the top row is not. That is strictly because I had this visible, and hitting Control A will mask everything that's visible in a subtool that you have selected. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this, let's say deformation, polish again. You see how it's starting to get more of like a viscous liquid sort of look. I mean, it's going to need some finesse and some smoothing, but for a blocking stage, that's looking pretty doggone sweet. Okay, so now we have things like these sprinkles that are penetrating through the gummy eye ring things. So what we're going to do is we're jumping over to this. Let's make sure that we have split this part out just in case we want to use it later. And we're going to rename this Sprinkles. Okay. Oh, the other thing I wanted to do with the sprinkles, let's go back to it. I wanted to take, in fact I'm going to need the move topological brush. I need to make sure that these sprinkles are not penetrating the gummy worm pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to move them just so that they're not penetrating. Sorry to everybody that came disappointed tonight. The original idea was to stream with Anna Carolina tonight. We're still planning on doing at some point, but we just had just one little thing that we couldn't quite figure out. We couldn't get past, and so we weren't able to get it completely set up. However, we were able to get a lot of other things figured out and worked out, so we should be able to get that going sometime soon. We had something really fun planned for you tonight too, so hopefully we'll be able to go ahead and get to it at some point. I'd like to thank her for coming up with the idea. Alright, let's turn off transparency. That should be plenty alright for that side. Now for this eye ring, let's see if we can mirror it across, because yeah, there we go, sweet. Let's go ahead and turn on our dynamic mode. That's not quite the gummy feel that I was hoping for. Let's see. I'm gonna try to pull this up so that we can all look at it together. Look at how beautiful the bands of red and green, and yeah, I don't know, it might be a matter of needing to actually create the bands. I really like the green, so let's find, it seems like green will often come matched with red. Like this one. I mean, this one's not super, it's not super apparent. It almost kind of looks more yellow and red. So, looks tasty. I should have grabbed some water. There's way too much sugar. Should do that. There we go. It's not it's not sticking. It's so funny because I swear I remember seeing gummy candies like that. I tried looking and I couldn't find any. It's for reference. For reference. That's interesting. Okay. Just for the sake of conversation, if you could have your dream job at your dream place, where would it be? What would you be doing? And how many days a week would you work? Would you have a desk, a cubicle, an office? How would you get there? Would you listen to music or podcasts while you work? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Let's try this. We're going to say that looks instantly better. Yeah, so I got peach rings. Well, they're watermelon rings, but in essence it's the same thing, right? I grabbed like little samplings of all sorts of candies. I even grabbed Runts, the Willy Wonka Runts, because I thought that the banana Runts could be really cool for like claws, something that's somewhat friendly and approachable but still menacing. Yeah, it's interesting to see. Oh, that was a mistake taking a bite out of this. Yep, I need to hide my reference. Or somebody needs to hide it for me. It's interesting to see how it looks from the inside. Like, you can see kind of the translucency of the materials and the difference between each material, because it's got like this more opaque pink and it's got this more transparent pink. And when you take a bite through the cross section of it, you can see how glass clear that translucent, that transparent pink is, and really just kind of how like the foamy texture of the opaque pink. Cheers. I'm gonna be in so much trouble. Rakan Kamash, Blizzard 7 days a week by Scooter, listening to music, 3D weapons artist or cinematics, nice cold iced tea, cool. What kind of music would you listen to? Yeah, I agree with you, G-Ben. Okay, let me see. Where's the other one that I had? Okay, there are these two that I have. They have kind of like a licorice center. Sorry, let me open these up. It's funny, I used to really think that these were like licorice was a sin. Like black licorice. Kind of hard to see. But it has like a black licorice center. And it's got like a candied coating. Oh, tastes so good. Oh, the reference. Chill Trap, Gorillaz, AC/DC. Cool. AC/DC's been popping up on the radio a lot more lately. And maybe it's just that and there was I can't remember what the song was, but there was something from the Gorillaz that is always on the radio. Oh, it's already 9:30. Holy crap. Let me see. Let's do something like this. By raise of hands, how many of you came today expecting to see Ana Carolina? Yes, definitely good and plenty. I've actually tried to make sure that I didn't buy too many of anything, just for the sake of making sure that I control my sugar stash. Or better yet, my own personal cravings. If that's one thing that I'm really, really bad at, it's controlling my appetite for sugar. It's absolutely terrible. And here I am building a scene inspired by chocolate. Okay. That train. Oh. Okay. Okay, so that train. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I can super hear it. Actually, let's see. Let's make sure that we're on the... Okay, we are. Okay. Let's come over here. Oh, come on. Local symmetry. Hola José, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo te va? ¿Cómo te ha ido? I need water. That's so terrible. Okay. Okay, let's see. Really what I want to do is I want to figure out this head. If I can figure out the head, I can figure out the rest of the body. And if I can figure out the rest of the body, then we should be good. We should be pretty good. Okay, so these, let me take a look at this and see if we can make this into something. Say bevel edge loop complete. It's too much. One of the things I want to try to do is I want to try to get these to look like waffle cones. Can't remember who brought it up, but it was such a good idea. And I feel like I'm making a green and purple piece of something. Real cool, huh? No. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I am making a food inspired, kind of Candyland inspired dragon for my scene. Oh, I better save this. Guys, I cannot relay enough the importance of saving. Yeah, so Mike, that's what I'm... Dante! So that's what I'm doing. So I'm creating the head of the dragon that will come to the scene. So you can see here's kind of like the block in for the head from last week. So this is what that head is starting to look like now. What I want to do real quick before I get into too much else, before I even try to go ahead and get the what's it called, the horns to look like waffle cones, let's just give this guy some gums and some teeth. I feel like that would be cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have this split out into 2 different polygroups just so that I can work on it. Oops, I want to have my mask pen. I'm just going to invert it. So I just Control Shift click and drag. Now let's go ahead and kind of fill this in. Turn to the side. More or less, something like that. Cool. So now I can just kind of come in here and just kind of fix that one little spot that I wasn't able to get right. Okay, so since I have those pieces, I'm just going to go ahead and Control W, make that its own polygroup. Could be helpful. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, let's go ahead, let's do this. Let's just use clay buildup. And because I have certain parts of the model masked out, I don't have to worry about affecting those parts negatively. Do something like that. And then I'll try to make like the little concave part of the inside of his mouth. Let's turn on Sculptris Pro just because it's helpful. So this is a really nice benefit to using masking in polygroups, especially with Sculptris Pro, because you can still use Sculptris Pro so long as your mesh is visible. It's fully visible. You can't have part of it hidden. So if you want to get rid of a piece or a part or a section or whatever, you need to do that, and then you need to, essentially do that and make everything visible, get rid of whatever you don't want, and then you keep whatever you do want. Okay guys, one of the things that I am planning on doing this year, I want to learn how to build robots. I work for Walt Disney Imagineering, and so it's really, I'm around a lot of robots. I see robots all over the place at work. Things that you would see if you were to go to Disneyland or whatnot. And so it's really neat, and I feel really inspired by the different things that people are working on there. And I also feel really inspired by different YouTube channels like Smarter Every Day, or like Mark Rober, or I'm trying to think of what other ones I really like listening to. There are a few inventors from the UK I really like listening to. Really fun. Let's turn on RGB. We'll go color fill object. Let's do something like that. And with a smooth color so that it gives me a bit more of a gradient for the color, moving between the darker and the lighter. Okay, so, oh, but yeah, to continue that idea of so I'm planning on creating a channel where I dedicate it to creating robots. You know what? The chat's not showing up in my video. Let me fix that really quick. Not that it matters a whole lot because we're almost done, but embed in stream, copy, restream chat URL. Maybe it'll start showing things up now. I can't really tell what it is that it's saying, but hopefully you guys can see. Come on, mate. Anyway, yeah, everything seems to be going kind of weird for me, technologically speaking, today. Yeah, so I'm thinking of, and it'll be a total channel, like its own channel, completely non-related to ZBrush, not related to, and again, like this kind of harkens back to, was it G-Ban? I can't remember. Somebody had asked about what I do to find inspiration for my personal projects, and this will be kind of one of those things where I'm just stepping away, finding my own little thing, you know, something to be happy with, you know. Okay, my brush. Okay. Ah, stupid. Okay. Okay, so let's say axis, let's go. Looks like Z is the right axis. Let's kind of pull this out. We don't need it to be that big, so we can kind of pull this in. If we want to add more resolution, we add another point in there. Oops. That seems like a pretty cool size. Let's see. Let's kind of shrink it just a little bit. That's one of the nice things about these bend curve guys, is that you can go through, you can really control your mesh. Okay. Let's get this to be a little bit bigger. Let's actually take it and make it like that. I like it like that. Yeah, so, and my first, actually it's downstairs. I have this little R2D2. It's about, 3 or 4 inches tall, maybe a good 10 centimeters. And it's super cool. I want to go through and make him remote control. And I want to take kind of like parts of an old cell phone to be able to give it excuse me, to be able to make it so that it is kind of a drone, so it has its own camera, so that it has its, just things like that. And it's it's a dumb idea, but it's so cool. Ooh, I like that. I didn't know I could do that. Huh. Cool. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll just say commit. It's a bit too big, I think. Plus, yeah, let's go ahead. We'll just say split unmasked. Let's rename it teeth. And then let's give it a better color. Let's do this. Let's hit C. We'll go color fill object. It feels like it's too far into the head for me, so let's actually just kind of carry it out a little bit. Okay, and then for this, let's see if we can't get this to let's get rid of those. Okay, so what I want to do, in fact, let's hide this bottom part of the mouth because I don't want to affect it. Let's kind of move this so that it better fits the flow of the shape of the head. And then let's kind of pull this out. Okay. Gonna go ahead and kind of pull that in. Let's pull this. Ooh, I don't want that to have RGB effects. Thank you. Okay, let's get back to our teeth. Just gonna hold control. Give him another tooth. Just something unique to make sure that they're unique. Okay, so I'm trying to decide, should I make the mouth open or closed? So you know, do I want to make him so that he is kind of like or do I want him to make him be like Let's come back to these eye rings. And we are going to, let's do this. Okay, let's actually do it like this. So we're gonna have it in symmetry. We'll have it be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. If you want to see how I made the curve brushes to be able to make these things, yeah, feel free to just go in and look at. Oh, that's like way too many. I'm getting all like hide the mesh happy. Go watch my previous streams. That one will be a little long, but that's, you know, that's fine. Okay, let's try this. So, just to be able to make it so that it's somewhat reasonable. Okay, so now we have this sort of effect going on. Let me see. Are you talking about the being able to grow your selection, or being able to hide rings at a time like that? Be able to hide rings at a time, I have my select lasso, and I'm holding Control Shift, and I'm clicking on an edge loop, and that's hiding that. To be able to shrink what's visible, Control Shift S. Okay, or to be able to grow, Control Shift X. Okay. So real quick, let me see. I'm trying to figure out. So here's what I think I'm going to need to do. I need to do neighbors. Okay. I need to go do 2, leave 2. Oops. Do 2, leave 2. Good night. Leave 2. Okay, leave 2. Do 2. And then leave 2. Okay. There we go. Oops. Control Shift S. Now we've got something much better. Okay. So this will be hopefully helpful. So what I want to do is I want to take and let's take the red ones because we had our gummy worms were red and green, so we'll do that. We'll come down to our poly paint tab and we'll say poly paint from polygroups. That's way too vivid. Okay, so what we're gonna do is let's take this and make it so that it's not so pink. RGB, color, fill object. That's better, but I want to unify it a little bit. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take it and we're gonna go, we're bringing down our RGB intensity. We're gonna go color, fill object. And we're just gonna kind of make it so that it's somewhat similar. I'll have to decide later if I feel like that's too busy or not. I kind of liked the green, so maybe instead of doing red, maybe we could go ahead and do like a darker green. Make it bluer. Oh. Okay, let's see. It's a masking, mask by cavity. Nope. Mask by smoothness. Nope. Mask by peaks and valleys. There we go. Okay, so this is starting to make it feel much more gummy-like. So I'm going to take this, let's actually saturate it like a ton. Okay, so let's hit view mask. Okay, so this is what we're seeing. Okay, and what I'll probably do is I'll probably colorize this so that it's darker, but this spot that isn't masked, I want to actually hit this with this color. So let's go ahead, let's try this. Okay, that wasn't doing what I hoped it would do. So let's come over here. And it's kind of making it feel more gummy-like. Such a dumb trick, but works. You know? Cool. It's funny, I really like how that looks, so maybe let's just do this. And then we'll just do C for that one. Okay, so now we can just go ahead and oh, V is for switch colors in this. Okay, so let's clear that out. We're gonna say color fill object. Okay. Mass peaks and valleys. Okay. V, we're gonna hit color fill object. Okay, that's feeling so much more gummy-like to me. They look like fried onions. I'm not sure how to take that. I've been just, you know, snacking on reference, you know. I dropped one. They look like fried onions. That's really funny. So one of the things that I am trying to consider is whether or not to leave these as they are or to make them into fried onions. Just kidding. Whether or not to make them into, what's it called? Candy corn. If you're familiar with North American Halloween traditions, you'll know about candy corn. It's actually one of my favorites. Thanks, Dante. ¿Qué tal todo en Argentina? Busy ad. Here we go. It's kind of an interesting feature. I have move topological turned on, and if I click and drag on a mesh that I'm not working on, it'll let me drag as if I have the move brush turned on. Obviously it's not what I'm wanting to do, but it's interesting that that's a feature. And one that I'd never seen or caught on to until just now. So You're welcome. I really enjoy getting this time to just play around in ZBrush. I feel like it's invaluable to me because it allows me the opportunity to just, you know, figure things out, just play with it, just, you know, do something fun, you know. And I think that that's super invaluable as a creative, is to just take some time, do something different than what you do every day. You know? Golly, ghost. Gracias, Dante. Soy chileno. No, en verdad no. There we go. Hey Ghost, what is it that you were doing to cause yourself to spill tomatoes? I guess you said you're operating on 2 hours of sleep, but you need to get more sleep, dude. That's one of those things that I have been trying to do a much better job at lately. Just getting sleep. Because I am so bad at it. Okay, let's say curved tube. Oh, so 2 things. I like for my curved tubes brush to be down to 8 edge loops going around. Okay, so I like to go and modify that. There are the modifiers underneath brush settings. Now I could, and probably should, go ahead and save it like that. Well, and also the curve steps, I like to have this up to 1. What this does is it makes sure that it gives me more even squares along the length of the curve. So it's kind of like I'm dragging it along, and instead of inserting an edge loop every half step, every half of the curve steps that it puts in, it inserts an edge loop every step. Okay, so it just makes it really, really a whole lot easier. In fact, let me do that. Because I just know that I'm going to need to modify this again. Okay, so and you have to go through and you have to make sure that you understand where your folder is when you're saving these things out. Let me show you. Okay, let me change this from, yeah, show display capture. That's the wrong one though. Interesting that it's looking like that. Okay, yeah, anyway, we'll keep it like that, sure. Put it down there. Transform, stretch the screen, there we go, that's better. Okay, so to be able to find this, you go into this PC, okay, if it'll go. I might have to use my mouse, it doesn't seem to like my Wacom tablet sometimes. Program files, go down to Pixel Logic, and then you got to go into the right file there. Okay, 2018. Okay, then underneath here you got to go, is it Z Data, Brush Presets, and then this is where you go ahead and you drop your brush preset. Since this is a brush that's already existing here, it's going to ask me if I want to replace it. Yes. So now that curve tube brush is going to replace the default one every time I open up ZBrush. It really is starting to get late. I'm a little over my time. It doesn't really matter a whole lot timing wise for streaming. Not yet anyway. Not that I'm aware. But let me see, what was the part that I was working on just now? The curved tubes. Okay, I wanted to make the little whiskers that are coming off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is stroke. I'm going to come into curve modifiers, turn on size. I want to play with this curve fall off. Okay, so this is the start of the curve, this is the end of the curve. So first thing, I'm going to flip vertical. I want it to start at its thickest. I don't want it to end at its thinnest. In fact, I want it to go something kind of more like this. Just to be able to see what it is that it's doing. I'm just going to kind of click and drag out. That's too thick at the start, but I like the shape of the curve, so let's just make our brush smaller. Oops. Tap on our curve. Let's maybe make it a little bit larger at the end. It's actually too long for what I'm wanting, so something like this might work. And then what I'm going to do, let's just take this and we'll say shrink it. I think that's starting to work. What do you think? Okay. Now I can kind of modify this and make it cool. What's nice about this is that it already has clean topology. Okay, the rest of it doesn't. So, subtool, split, unmasked points. And let's go ahead and we'll just name this antenna. I don't know. I think there are two ends in there. I totally messed that up, but we're gonna not worry about it. This not no spelling bee. Okay. Let's make sure that these teeth all have different polygroups. ¿Cómo te fue? Okay. All right. So since these are the same thing as this, at least I'm going to make them that way. Let's go ahead, let's say color. Oh. No, not. What am I doing? I feel like I'm not even thinking. Fill object, there we go. Good. See, now it's like nice and smooth, and it feels like it fits in with the rest of the dragon's head. Okay, now this is kind of interesting. The gummy rings around the eyes. Butter popcorn yummy. Oh no, butter popcorn yummy. Okay, cool. I put that Y on the wrong end of the word. It's kind of funny. Butter popcorn. BPC. How you doing? So, the gummy worm ring. It's interesting because right now it's on Skin Shade 4, okay, which that's the material that's affecting it now. What we had affecting it was the toy plastic, which has a very glossy sort of look to it. I feel like it kind of completes that sort of gummy look, although it is too specular. So if I were to take this toy plastic and modify it, you know, take this specular down to, you know, something maybe like this, and then take our specular curve and make it so that it's not so specific to no, that's not specific enough. Let me see. Add a little bit of noise. I feel like that's creating some cool kind of a cool look. The stuff that you gotta play with when you're experimenting. Because the thing that I'm experimenting with is I want to break up that specular highlight so that it doesn't look so uniform. Because if we don't have any noise, so let's put it to 0, you can see, I mean, it looks really crisp, really clean, which isn't bad. It's not a bad thing. What am I working on? I'll turn that off. Okay, let's turn this up one more. No, just one more, come on. Just one more, there we go. That works just fine. Okay, so you can see how smooth and beautiful and even that specular highlight is if we look just right around here. Okay, so now the thing that we want to do is if we just kind of take the noise and just turn that up, it starts to give us, it starts to break up that specular, break it up a lot, but then it starts to look less realistic. So 0 doesn't look realistic, 1 doesn't look realistic, but somewhere kind of in between helps us to feel more like we have something that has specularity, but not too much. Or like it's not perfectly smooth, perfectly glossy. Kind of cool. Okay. Might need to take it a little bit less though. Let's change it to 0.15. That works. I like that better. Because I don't want it to feel too much like it's getting rid of the specularity elsewhere. was up to 3. And let's grab these eyes. Let's turn dynamic on for those. Control Shift S to kind of shrink it down. I want to take the material, let's say color, fill object. I don't want that inside pupil to be very visible. Okay, so let's, oh, it's the chocolate. I want the chocolate. You see, that's kind of penetrating through that pupil a little bit right there, so we're just going to push that out of the way. Now that's looking good. That's looking groovy. Okay, this is going to establish a lot of the quality and the, you know, just that sort of thing that we're trying to look for to make it feel like it's something. You know, it's made out of something. Eventually, what we'll do is we'll take pieces like this and we'll come in and we'll try to figure out a lightbox noise. Okay, and there are all sorts of cool noises that come with it. We might have to look at making our own. This might work. Let's try this. Okay, so what we can do, we can come in here, we can edit. Let's see what we can get. Yeah, definitely this direction. Plug in scale. Too small. Maybe something like that. And what we want to do is we want to take the color blend, we want to turn that to 0, or instead of turning it to 0, we can take it and we can add in an extra color to kind of help identify this more as the material that it's supposed to be, have it help it feel more like sponge cake, you know? Okay. I'm going to turn off this mix basic noise. I feel like it's looking better like that. We're going to say OK. And see how it goes. Our mesh. Already looking so much better, so much cooler. Check that out. Yes. Okay, but it's starting to look a little bit too sandy. Whoa, is that Ashley I see? It's so funny. For you, it's so doggone late. I mean, you're 3 hours ahead of me, I think. And I mean, here it's 10:30. That means that didn't sound good. file. Oh, plugin scale. Oh, yes. So, Ghost. Yeah, sent the Raggedy Ann and Andy animation. Yeah, that's a crazy, crazy animation. Yeah, it's freaky and surreal for sure. Drink a light roast at 10 p.m. I'm screwed. Why would you do that? Of course, I didn't show you all the, all the haul that I've got. I mean, it's all reference. But I've had more than enough of it to eat. Yeah, that's too strong, so let's back it down some. So I'm just going to select the antenna. I'm going to hit noise, edit, paste. Okay, and there we go. If I wanted to, I could totally just save out. I could just save out the noise as its own thing, but I think that's good enough for now. Okay. Trying to decide. Oh, let's see. If I should stay or should I go? Okay, let's turn off Sculpting Pro mode just because I don't need it at the moment. Let's just kind of bring in some pretty little red. Okay. Just running smooth with just the RGB enabled, and that's allowing me to get, oh come on, it's allowing me to get some smooth just the color. Just gonna kind of, yeah, let's just color it all in, why not? Okay. Well, so far, this is looking much more exciting than last week's version. Let's hit save before I totally space it. Let's go Candyland, Dragon Say, replace it, yes. The dragon looks tasty. And Candylandish. Very true. Very true. If I do say so myself. Not to pat myself on the back. Cool, guys. Well, hopefully I'll be able to get everything kind of figured out with streaming, with co-streaming, so that I can have guests on during my stream time. I feel like it's a really fun idea. The initial idea was Anna's, so you know, props to her, and big huge thanks for her wanting to collaborate like that. I think it's really fun. It's a really great idea, and I'm looking forward to really getting this right, so we can do this. But yeah, I think this is kind of where I might call it good for now. It kind of leaves as a good standard for the rest of the dragon. Replace it, yes. And yeah, I think that it should be. Let's turn on perspective. We'll see it with some perspective. But yeah, I think that's turning out cool. I'm really pleased with it, and hopefully eventually someday I'll be able to go through and start incorporating this guy with the rest of the scene a whole lot better. At the moment, this is what he's looking like. And I've got this body wrapping around the mountain, which, and you know, I need to fix this tree because this is like wanting to poke him in the eye, and that's just rude. Let's take this. Whoa, oh, I thought there was for real like multiple trees. I was like, how does it do that? I didn't tell it to do that. Who told it to do that? I was about to be a little upset. Like in a toddler, old-fashioned fit sort of way. Just kidding. I got over doing that last week. Okay. Cool. Anyway, yeah, I mean, if you guys have requests on artists that you would like to see from the stream team in a collaboration during my streaming time, feel free to send me a note and drop me a line on Instagram or whatnot. You can find me on Instagram under Smartest. Okay, and yeah, send me a line. Tell me which of the streamers you'd like to see me collaborate with, and I'll see if I can make something happen. Thanks for dropping in. Hopefully it was worth your while. I sure had fun. I always enjoy it when I got good people coming in to say hello and to chat and, you know, whatnot. Always fun. Love ZBrush. Love you guys. And I look forward to making this all super ultra fantastic. I will see you guys next week. Same time, same day. Oh, yeah, there's my button. So, yeah. I'll see you around.